So permit me to begin by looking at the objectives. So in this section, objectives, we'll review the role of innovation in strategic entrepreneurship. And then we'll look at the highlight of the key components of strategic entrepreneurship, elaborate the types of innovation in strategic entrepreneurship, elucidate the challenges of strategic entrepreneurship. Then we'll look at real-life examples of strategic entrepreneurship, enumerate key organizational growth strategies for MSMEs, micro, small, medium enterprises, and then we explain the blue ocean strategy. By introduction, strategic entrepreneurship is the pursuit of competitive advantage through innovation and entrepreneurial activities. In the definition of entrepreneurship, we say entrepreneurship is the holistic approach to harnessing covered opportunities using the available resources. That is the traditional definition of entrepreneurship, a holistic approach towards harnessing opportunities, discovered opportunities, using the resources available. Now, in the strategic entrepreneurship, we are looking at driving both sustainable and competitive advantages through innovation and then through entrepreneurship activities themselves. It involves combining the innovation and the risk-taking of entrepreneurship with the strategic thinking and resources of established firms. Now, the last program we had, we talked about structured entrepreneurship. There is a challenge in Africa. I will keep saying that because that is one of the things I discovered. There's actually a challenge in Africa, and that challenge is that entrepreneurship in Africa is not structured. So we still consider entrepreneurship, or we consider self-employment as entrepreneurship, which is not. Now, bringing strategic entrepreneurship gives us a better edge towards understanding fuller what entrepreneurship is all about. So here we want to talk about driving sustainable advantage, driving competitive advantage through innovation and through entrepreneurial activities. And we have a whole lot of companies today that are leveraging on strategic entrepreneurship. And that's why you could find a company that doesn't have any single office anywhere and is making rounds everywhere. That is strategic entrepreneurship driven by innovation. Then you could have companies located as far as the East is from the West, but those companies are found almost everywhere. Their brands are found almost everywhere in the world. It is because of strategic entrepreneurship. So we're going to find out how they do it, and then how we can also do it as strategic managers. Now, the role of innovation in strategic entrepreneurship. Number one is driving force. Innovation serves as a driving force for strategic entrepreneurship. So innovation fuels growth and competitiveness by creating new products, services, and business models. I love this third one, the business models. One of the benefits of innovation in strategic entrepreneurship is the introduction of non-conventional business models that has given birth to massive disruptions and brought a whole lot of change to the industry and to the economy, which has also created new opportunities for the masses. All right. Then the second thing there is market differentiation. Innovative offerings set a business apart from competitors and attract new customers. This is also one of the unique things happening. If you have been paying attention to the radio in recent times, almost all over the radio stations in Abuja, the major radio stations in Abuja, you will hear about this program by MoneyPoint Microfinance Bank. Now, they are not actually driving MoneyPoint Microfinance Bank, but they are driving the brand MoneyPoint. Okay, and they will tell you how to win 50,000 in a day, how to win credits, how to call cards, how to win 1 million naira in a month, and all of that. Okay, now those people, if you come to Abuja, I doubt if they have any physical office where customers go into and come out from. No, but their services are heavily built on apps. applications, soft applications. So everything they've done is to drive, differentiate their offerings and then attract customers to them. Okay, they will have the third role of innovation, which is adaptation. Innovation enables organizations to adapt to changing market conditions and seize emerging opportunities. So this is very, very important. Okay, this is very, very important. The key components of strategic entrepreneurship and innovation. Number one, we have visionary leadership. Visionary leadership. If we want to talk about strategic entrepreneurship, then we must talk about visionary leadership. Visionary leadership. The second one is risk-taking. One of the advantages of innovation in strategic entrepreneurship is that while the risk-taking is there, but the cost of the risk-taking becomes low. Okay, the cost of taking risk becomes low. Let me give you an instance. Let's take, for instance, MoneyPoint used 800,000 naira or 1 million to build their app. That is not, that is more compared to building offices all across the states of Nigeria and all across Africa. So 800,000 or 1 million compared to billions of naira that they would have used in building their own facilities, or even if we say they want to rent and they come to Abuja, only Abuja alone, they will spend more than 10 million, between 10 to 15 million to be able to get a comfortable place they can rent to serve for their purpose. But they've been able to, through innovation, reduce the risks involved. Okay, so they have new opportunities, they come up with new ideas, everything embedded on their apps. Okay, then you also have resource allocation. One of the key components of strategic entrepreneurship is resource allocation. Now, it is easier for someone to use 50,000 today. In fact, if I say 50,000 naira, that's too much. It's easier for someone to use 5,000 naira today to start a business than in the days when such businesses could have been maybe started with 50 million naira. Okay, now why is it so? Because there are resources available now that can help you, that you can leverage on to introduce whatever thing you want to introduce at no highly expensive cost to you. If you want to start a business in Nigeria right now, you don't need an office to start. You don't need staff to start, because everything you need to start is actually within you. I can actually say that it's just in your hands. Just the mobile phone, the Android phone, the iOS phone you have, you can use that to start a business that will grow into multi-billion conglomerate with time. So we are able in current realities to raise capital within us. We're able to manage talent through networking, online networking. We're able to manage time through some applications you get online, and they help you to manage your time and manage your resources as well. And we're also able to get support for innovative innovation initiatives. Then we'll have the cross-functional collaboration. In current times, it is easier to create cross-functional collaboration. So organizations in contemporary time have information systems that can easily allow for collaboration across departments, across units, across roles in the organization. Okay, so if I were to be in a first bank in Abuja and I needed to, let's assume my relationship manager is in Lagos and I'm here in Abuja, and the relationship manager or the person that is attending to me in Abuja need to communicate to the person in Lagos. All he needs to do is send a chat from his system there, and everything will be sorted in a space of 5 to 10 minutes. So there is that cross-functionality through innovation, all right? Then we'll also have organizational culture, a culture that values creativity, risk-taking, and learning from failure. Okay, if you want to introduce strategic entrepreneurship within your firm, then there must be a culture that supports creativity, supports risk-taking, and learning from your mistake. Now, types of innovation in strategic entrepreneurship will have the product innovation, creating new products or improved products and services. Example, the Apple's iPhone. So every day you keep having different brands of Apple, our Apple phone or iPhone. So you have 11 Pro Max, 12 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max. I don't know the latest one they have now, but it keeps improving. Now I have process innovation, enhancing operational processes to increase efficiency. Example, Toyota's lean production system. Business model innovation. This business model innovation is actually an intriguing one, because if you have an innovative business model, there are chances that you innovate on your product, you innovate on your process, and you innovate on the technology involved in the whole business system. Okay, so business model innovation, developing new ways of delivering value to customers and capturing value in the market. Example is Airbnb's platform-based business model. So for those of us that have come across Airbnb, of course, you know that there are people in Nigeria who have subscribed to the Airbnb, but there is no office for Airbnb anywhere. All you need is the app in your phone. Okay, and when we say innovation entrepreneurship, it actually has a whole lot of benefit. Airbnb in Nigeria today will not talk about tasks, will not talk about legal requirements, will not talk about one of the things that technology has done, especially information technology, is to bring disruption. So it broke barriers, it broke the walls that were creating barriers. Okay, so it took Buhari, or the last president of Nigeria, to introduce taxation to social media operators in Nigeria. Prior to the time of Buhari, there was nothing like social media tax rather. Okay, so Facebook was never paying tax, so you didn't pay VAT. If you needed to run advert on Facebook, there was no VAT. If you needed to run advert on WhatsApp, there was no VAT. But in current times, they pay VAT. But prior to then, in fact, they've made all the money they needed to make before the introduction of mandating legal licensing, legal issues towards them. Okay, and I believe if what was the then Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, if Lai Mohammed had not had any issue with Twitter, I believe the then Twitter, I believe maybe wouldn't have come up with anything task, because it was that loggerheads that Nigerian government was having with Twitter that the issue of VAT came in, and then it was spread across every other platform. Okay, but there are still business models. I'm not saying evading tasks is okay. What I'm trying to say is business models can actually help you reach where you wouldn't have reached. Okay, there are business models that can help you get to that extent without force talking about how do you register in that environment, how do you pay tax or what have you. Okay, then you have the technological innovation, advancement in technology that lead to new products or processes. Example, the Tesla's electric vehicle technology. Benefit of strategic entrepreneurship and innovation. You have the competitive advantage, you have sustainability, and then you have higher customer value. Higher customer value. Okay, higher customer value. It is easier for Facebook to say, you join our platform for free when they started and up to date, because their overhead cost is very low. When they started, you can comfortably say they're over, because it was just done from their rooms. They were not bothering about adverts then. They were not bothering about building more servers that will reach more people. The first time Facebook server failed or noticeably failed was in the time of COVID. Everybody was at home. So the pressure became high and their server was failing almost every now and then. But prior to the time their server was failing, it wasn't an issue because they had a capacity that can handle that pattern. And that is one of the things that innovation has brought. People enjoy higher benefits, higher value without having to break the bank. For instance, the training you're having right now, or we're having, if it were to be a non-technologically driven training, you'll be spending a whole lot in this. So for people like Barrister Geb that is within Abuja, yes, the cost might be a little less. But for people like Engineer Shuaibu, let's assume he has to come to Abuja from Lagos, taking flights to and fro in a time as this, and then having to lodge in a hotel, maybe for 5 days, and then take care of additional feeding. And of course, when he comes to Abuja, there must be people that will come to visit him, and then he will take them out, or they take each other out, extra money. And then imagine Mr. Andrew flying all the way from Ghana or UK, depending on where he's going to be coming from, and then he's coming to take the course for 5 days. So it would have been a whole lot of expenditure. But as it is now, the customers are enjoying greater value at lesser cost. And this is all the whole interest of agile entrepreneurship, or what we call the strategic entrepreneurship. This is just what it's all about. Giving maximum value at the least cost to the customer. Giving maximum value at the least cost to the customers. Okay, this is very, very important, and we must think in this direction. Now, let's look at the different types of innovation strategies we have, and the application of innovation strategy and how we can make them work. Now, for you to bring innovation strategy to your business or to your workplace, number one, there must be innovation objectives, clearly defined objectives that specify what the organization aims to achieve through innovation. This must be well defined. Then you have number two, portfolio management, managing a diverse portfolio innovation project with varying risk levels and timelines. Some of us used to think that because projects are online or businesses are online, there are no risks. Businesses online also manage portfolios, and I would take the Amazon, for example. So you have the Amazon Kindle, which it deals with publishing, online publishing. You have the Amazon Web Services, which deals with hosting of websites. Then you have the Amazon stores, which deals with sales. So that's a whole lot of portfolio, and that's the one we know. These are the ones we know. I believe they have much more than all of this. Okay. Then you have the open innovation, collaborating with external partners such as startups or research institutions to assess new ideas and technologies. This is one of the benefit of going for maybe conferences, workshops, so that you can have access to open innovation. Now, innovation process. The innovation process comprises of idea generation, idea screening, product or service development, then testing and iteration. The idea generation comprises of the methods for generating creative ideas, including brainstorming session and customer feedback. I've actually come to realize that one of the most crazy ways to go about business is to pay attention to ideas that people consider as not really being the most beautiful idea. Today, while I was taking my bath, I was just thinking, I don't know how many of us eat snail, but if you eat snail frequently, you'll find out that if you were to compare a snail to a goat in Nigeria currently, if you were to pack snail so that it becomes the size of a goat, you find out that snail is more expensive than goat now. Okay, a snail is more expensive than goat. All right. Most people don't consider snairy as something they need to go into, but snairy is a high-paying opportunity right now. A high-paying opportunity. Okay. Take for instance again, car wash. Car wash. I'm talking about things that will cost you little to invest in. If you have the space, it will cost you little to invest in, but they can generate maximum profit for you. So let's take car wash, for example, and all you need to do is get a space and make sure that it is good enough for people to bring their cars and all of that. Now, when you bring a car wash, you bring your washing machine. Okay, for those of us that use washing machine, bring access to water, right? So let's assume it took you about 500,000 to set up your car wash, assumedly, okay? Now, in a space of 1 month, you can recover that money completely back, dependent on the volume of cars in that environment. So let's assume you chose a good environment where you wash about 50 to 100 cars in a day. Okay, you wash about 50 to 100 cars in a day, and you collect 1,000 naira per one to wash the car. Okay, so in a day you'll be getting about 50 to 100,000. Okay, that, let's say just washing, no other thing to be done. You'll be getting about 50 to 100,000 in a day. If you do that in a week, you'll be getting about 50 times 7. That's about 350 to 500 times, that's 350 to 500,000 in a week, all things being equal. If you do that in a month, you'll be getting almost 2 million naira in a month. You have recovered all the money you spent in your initial investment. Now, let's assume that you pay your workers, the people that wash, you pay them 500 naira for any car they wash. So they take 500 naira, you take 500 naira, all right? Now, out of the 500,000, you spend 250. In a week, you spend 250 and you kept 250. In a month, you still have up to 1 million naira to yourself. Now, let's say out of the 1 million naira, you spend 50,000 naira per week for fuel and diesel or whatever thing you will buy on the small machine you will be using. Okay, you get 50,000 naira, you still have 200,000 to yourself in a week. Now, 200,000 in a week by 4 in a month, that will be 800,000. I'm just giving you a breakdown, right? Now, let's assume again that there are other contingencies that you must spend. So let's say you have extra 50,000 to spend. You still have 150 to yourself, or let's say extra 100,000 to spend. You still have 100,000 to yourself. Now, 100,000 times 4, that's 400,000 in a month. There are some of us that sit down here in 3 months, you might not have been able to access 400,000. In fact, there are some of us that our salaries is not to 400,000 in a month. Okay. Now, why am I taking time to talk about this? Because there are some ideas that will come to you, you throw them away thinking they are not polished, they are not white, they are not blue, they are dark. So since they are not resembling the class of what you might want to fit in, you throw them away. Every business can be worked into the class you want it to be. Okay, I went to wash my car Sunday around Gariki. For those of us that know Abuja very well, there is a place called Gariki. Okay, Gariki 2 to be precise. Okay, around Gariki Market, by the road, there is a particular place they wash car there. So all this while, I've never washed my car more than 1.5. All the while I've been washing, I've never washed a car more than 1.5. Now I got there to wash my car. Thank God I asked them how much before they started washing. Okay. And I asked them how much. They told me, I think it was 4,500. I said, 4,500 is going to wash this car 3 times. And I asked them, what are you people going to do in the car? It's going to still be the same process. You bring out you wash both the inside out, right? You wash inside out, that's going to be 4,500. And I told them, well, I need to come back. And I left. I didn't go back there. But there were cars parked there, because when I got there, I saw different kinds of cars that my car at that moment was not up to the cars there. So I went there. I went to the place with a Camry muzzle. Was it 2010? Now, when I went to the place, I was seeing G-Wagon, I was seeing Bentley and some other cars in that category. So I had to tell myself that, yeah, the people that have G-Wagon can comfortably pay. And for the saloon cars, like mine, was 4,500. And I think for the Bentley was around, for the Jeep, the SUV cars, they were up to 7,000. Okay. And I had to take a bow. So all of us, what I'm trying to say in essence is any idea can be worked to the class you want it to be. Okay. Of course, we understand that all businesses are not for all persons. So you have to decide what kind of customers your idea should be serving. Then the next one is idea screening, criteria for evaluating and prioritizing ideas based on alignment with strategic goals. And you have product and service development, efficient development processes that turn promising ideas into viable products or services, testing and iteration, methods for testing innovation in real-world scenarios and iterating based on feedback. Okay, still on Types of innovation, I think we've already dealt with it. So let's look at performance metrics and evaluation. Key performance indicators. Every strategy in your business need to be evaluated. Every strategy, there must be KPIs. We took the time in our second week to deal with KPIs. So maybe you need to review KPIs to understand why there must be KPIs for your strategic engagement. They have the feedback loops, the mechanisms through which you collect feedback from customers, from employees, from stakeholders, to tell you what to reiterate on, what to improve on, and what to remove or eliminate. Okay. They have the innovation audit, periodic assessment of the innovation strategy and processes to be sure that it's taking you to where you want to get to. There's scaling and integration. Scaling and integration. After you've done your innovation audit and is giving you what you want, okay, you have the privilege to scale, okay, and then integrate into other aspects of the business. Scaling and innovation, scaling successful innovations, strategies for scaling, integrating successful innovations across organization. Then you have the change management, managing the cultural and organizational changes that may result from innovation. So you have the privilege, after auditing your strategy, your innovation strategy, and it's giving you the result, you have the privilege to scale it up. And then, of course, while you're scaling, there is possibility of changes. So there should also be a way to manage the changes as they come. Challenges in strategic entrepreneurship and innovation: resistance to change, resource constraints, and market uncertainty. I think I will just run it that way because we've discussed this as your current challenges in strategic management. All right. Now let's look at examples of strategic entrepreneurship and innovation. So the first one we have there is Apple. Apple is a prime example of a company that has consistently blended entrepreneurship and innovation into its strategy. Its co-founder, Steve Jobs, was known for his entrepreneurial spirit and emphasis on innovation. Apple has introduced groundbreaking products like the iPhone, iPad, MacBook, which revolutionized their respective markets through innovative designs, user experience, and ecosystem integration. The company continues to foster entrepreneurship within its culture, encouraging employees to think creatively and take risks. In Africa, we have Flutterwave. Flutterwave is one of the most renowned fintech we have in Africa, one of the most renowned fintech we have in Africa. Flutterwave is a Nigerian fintech company that has demonstrated a strong commitment to entrepreneurship and innovation in the financial service sector. Here is how. Number one, they provided innovative payment solutions. Flutterwave was among the first fintech company to challenge the traditional banking. As of 2022, Flutterwave was considered the most profitable fintech company in Africa, the most profitable fintech company in Africa. Flutterwave was considered. And Flutterwave, without having offices dispersed all around Africa, has higher financial base than most of the traditional financial institutions. And today, I doubt if there is any bank in Nigeria that doesn't integrate with Flutterwave, or Flutterwave does not integrate with, or vis-a-vis. Okay, so that is very, very important to note that they brought in innovative payment solutions. Okay, I remember those days Flutterwave was coming up. There were several allegations, there were several conspiracies that if they allowed the fintech, which Flutterwave was pushing then, that there was going to be high levels of cyber crime, financial crime through the internet and all of that. Yes, while we agree that there are possibilities to that, there are also strategies, there are also mitigants that can be put to avoid such. And thank God today we have cyber securities, we have several other systems that have reduced such effects. Now, another thing that Flutterwave did is entrepreneurial support. Okay, so Flutterwave went on with partnerships, creating support for other, trying to create a fintech eco-friendly system for any entrepreneur that want to launch into that space. And then they also went on to creating the Flutterwave store. So you can have an e-commerce store with Flutterwave store. So all you need to do is open a subdomain with Flutterwave and then list all your products. You receive payments from their system, and then you also can integrate your delivery systems via their platform, and it's at no cost. Okay, it's at no cost. All right. Then you have expanding across Africa. So they did not only stop in Nigeria, they went across Africa. And then they have also what we call the Flutterwave Innovation Hub. Flutterwave collaborates with quite a number of universities, quite a number of institutions across Nigeria. I may not know much about other parts of Africa, but what are they doing? They are providing entrepreneurial skills, providing support skills for tech-based entrepreneurs or aspiring tech-based entrepreneurs through their innovation hub. And then Flutterwave also provided or led solutions that led to rapid growth and funding. Flutterwave is a good example of strategic entrepreneurship and innovation, and it has opened ways to quite a number of other fintechs. Several fintechs today that are standing, most of them came out from Flutterwave or they passed through Flutterwave entrepreneurship programs. Okay. Now, key organizational skills for growth and expansion for MSMEs. You have the market penetration, the strategies to focus on increasing sales of existing product services within your current market. The implementation is invest in marketing and sales effort, enhance customer relationship, and offer promotions to attract more customers. They have product and service innovation. The strategy will focus on continuously improving and innovating your existing products or services to meet evolving customer needs. The implementation will involve encouraging employee creativity, gathering customer feedback, and investing in research and development within your budget constraints. There you have the market diversification. The strategy will focus on exploring new customer segments or geographic market for your existing products or services. The implementation will be on conducting market research to identify growth opportunities, adapt your offerings to new markets, and establish local partnership or distribution channels. They have the digital transformation, which strategy will focus on embracing digital technologies to improve efficiency, reach a wider audience, and enhance customer experiences. Then implementation will focus on creating an online presence, investing in e-commerce capabilities, and leveraging digital marketing to attract and engage customers. Sometimes last year, or was it early this year, we had a training for National Boundaries Commission. That was actually my first time of hearing about them. Okay, no, the first time I heard about them was December last year when we did the training for them. And then around January or so, January, February, we did another training for them on digital transformation. And they were telling me a whole lot of beautiful things about them. Okay, giving me information about Nigerian data on boundaries, Nigerian lands and all of that, statistics that exist and all of that, and several things. And I asked them a question. I said, so if I want to assess information on Nigerian boundaries, maybe as a geologist, as an investor, or what have you, how do I do that? And they say, I have to pay, I have to apply to their DG, and then processing will begin. Then I have to make some fees, and then the thing will be given to me. And I asked them a question. I said, what if you automate this process? What if you automate the process? That you don't need to, the person doesn't need to write to your DG and then maybe to take 2 months or thereabout before you will get the information. What if the person can get this in less than 1 hour? Because there is a system that has already automated that. There's an autopilot system that has brought that into place. If you watch CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission, there was a time they tried to introduce such a thing. I don't know how far they've been able to go now, but for business name registration, you don't need to step into any CAC office to get your business name registered. But for limited liability companies, I think at some point, there were hitches. I don't know how far they've gone, but When they started, you can process your limited companies from wherever you are. Now, the Ministry of Interior, they want to make passports like you want to get your international passport, you can process them through e-platforms. Those are part of digital transformation. Those are part of digital transformation. And for those of us in class right now that have the ability to introduce digital transformation to your organization, please do so. Okay, it will start with just creating the awareness, starting the trainings. Yeah, I think it was in February too, we did a training for the head of service on digital transformation, because part of there's what they call Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2025. Part of that plan is digital transformation, digitalization. Okay, and they are encouraging ministries, they are encouraging departments and agencies and other parastatals to make sure that they imbibe digital transformation. Okay, some people are scared of it, but the truth is, it's something that will come, and then at some point it will also evolve. Okay, it will evolve. All right. Now we have the strategic partnerships and alliances. If you need training on digital transformation for your organization, you feel free to call us any day, anytime, and we'll be there to deliver. Strategic partnerships and alliances. Strategy will involve collaborating with other businesses, organizations to access new markets, share resources, and reduce costs. The implementation will be identifying potential partners, negotiating mutually beneficial agreements, and establishing clear terms and responsibilities. Lean management and cost control. This is the Toyota approach. The strategy will focus on efficiency and cost control to improve profitability and free up resources for growth. The implementation will be to streamline operations, reduce waste, and optimize supply chain processes, minimize costs. Then we'll have the exporting options for MSMEs. When we talk about export in Nigeria, we only think it's about products. No, you can also export services. In fact, the most exported commodity in Nigeria today is services. The most exported commodity in Nigeria today and in Africa, if not around the world, is services. There is massive exportation of human skills, IT, technical, medical, name them. So we have more exportation of services today than it was before now. Okay. So the strategy will involve exploring opportunities to sell your product services in the international markets, implementation, understand export regulations, identify target countries, and adapt your offerings to meet international standards and preferences. Then we'll have employee development and training. Strategy here will involve investing in your workforce to improve productivity and customer service. Implementation will involve providing training and development opportunities, encouraging employee engagement, and recognizing and rewarding outstanding performances. Then we'll have the customer relationship management, which is key for every MSME. The strategy here will be to strengthen relationship with existing customers, to retain them and generate repeat business. The implementation will involve implementing a CRM system to track customer interactions, personalized communication, and address customer needs promptly. Okay, so we have the sustainability and CSR initiatives. Most of us in MSMEs think we don't have to do sustainability and CSR initiative. We should, and we have to. It is not a function of how much profit you're making or how much revenue you're generating. It's all about ethical leadership and ethical business. Okay, so the strategy here will involve embracing sustainability practices and engaging in socially responsible activities to attract eco-conscious customers and investors. Implementation will have to be on setting sustainability goals, reducing environmental impact, and participating in community initiatives. They will have the financial management. The strategy will involve maintaining strong financial management practices, including budgeting, cash flow monitoring, and prudent financial decision-making. Implementation here will involve seeking financial options for growth projects and regularly reviewing financial performance. Then you have the agile and flexible options. Here you have the strategy to develop agile and flexible business operations to respond quickly to changing market conditions. Implementation here will focus on fostering a culture of adaptability and encouraging employees to suggest improvement and changes. Now, let's quickly look at the Blue Ocean strategy. The Blue Ocean strategy. The Blue Ocean strategy is a concept that came from W. Chen King and Rene Mobogne in their book 2005 that the title Blue Ocean Strategy. And if you don't have access to that book, I would recommend that you get a copy for yourself. It's something you will want to have. I've recommended 2 books in this class. I've recommended the 10S rule. 10S rule. Okay, 10S rule by so the 10S rule is from Grant Cardone, and then Blue Ocean Strategy is from W. Chan Kim and Rene Mobogne. Blue Ocean Strategy: how to create uncontested market space and make competition irrelevant. Okay, that sounds too good to be true. So let's look at Blue Ocean Strategy and what it's all about. This strategy is designed to help businesses break away from the cutthroat competition of existing markets, the red oceans, and instead create new market spaces, the blue oceans, where competition is largely irrelevant because the company has carved out a unique and uncontested niche. Now, the key principles and concepts of Blue Ocean Strategy: you have the red oceans versus the blue oceans. Red oceans represent existing markets where competition is fierce, and companies vie for a share of the market by differentiating themselves on factors like price, features, and quality. Blue oceans, on the other hand, represent untapped market spaces where competition is minimal or non-existent. As a business manager, as a strategic manager, as a head of an organization, whatever position you take, you must always try your best to make competition irrelevant. And if you check Apple products and other products, what happened is that Apple created a product that existed in the blue ocean. Okay, every other person in the phone industry or mobile phone industry, they are just in the red ocean. And that's why someone could bring out 900,000 to $1 million plus to buy an Apple phone, but the same phone, when you go to another product like Techno, Infinix, or what have you, or even Samsung, okay, you might be struggling to buy the same phone, the same features of the same phone, might be struggling to buy it for 250,000. Okay, so the other day I needed to buy, or I want to buy a new phone. Okay, I have 2 phones currently, or let me say 1 phone and 1 tablet. So my phone is a Nokia phone. I bought the phone because of the brand Nokia, and it's a good phone. It's a very wonderful phone. Then my tablet is Samsung. To buy the Apple. So I went to price. Now for 5G of Nokia on the same configuration of what I have now, which is 4G, is about 359,000. If I want to get the 5G of it, it's about 359,000. Now, to get the iPhone version of the same 5G, of the same configuration, okay, 5G, is about 900 plus thousand. Same configurations, let me not say same benefits anyway, but for the fact that one is building with blue ocean in mind, and the other one was building with let's meet with the competition, or let's meet up with the trend. One is ready to go down for it to sell, and the other one is ready to go as high as possible to differentiate its product. So without doubt, 1 cell of an Apple phone could represent 5 cells of the same configuration in a Nokia phone, and maybe 10 times the cell of the same configuration in a Techno or Infinix product or any other product. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, how do we want to get there? I'm sure you would have heard of those luxury products or luxury cars like a Lamborghini, what do they call the other ones? Lamborghini, Bentley, G-Wagon. In fact, G-Wagon, I don't even see it as a, I don't see G-Wagon now as part of the luxury cars. Okay, because the last time I checked the price of a G-Wagon, you could get a G-Wagon from 140 to 180 million. So I don't consider that as a luxury good again, because you still have some Prado Jeeps right now you could get for more than 250 million, 350 million, dependent on the model. Okay, but we don't consider, based on branding, we don't consider those Jeeps or those SUVs as a luxury, because the makers did not make them with luxury in mind. But Bentley is created as a luxury product. In fact, there was a car I so much heard about. I've forgotten the name of the car. I so much heard the car that I decided to do a research, the price of the car versus the price of a private jet, because I was telling myself, instead of buying this car, why don't I buy a private jet? And I found out that the price of that car was more than the price of a private jet. And somebody somewhere, some people are buying it. That is just a differentiation between a blue ocean and a red ocean. All right. Now, the next concept of blue ocean strategy is called value innovation, providing the highest value at the least cost. That's what value innovation is talking about. Value innovation says the higher the value, the lesser the price. That's value innovation. The higher the value, the lesser the price. The higher the value, the lesser the price. So value innovation is trying to provide more value at the least cost ever imagined. The least cost ever imagined. Now, by saying least cost, it doesn't really mean cheap. Let me explain that. Now, by saying least cost does not mean that it is cheap. Okay, my mentor once told me that expensive is relative. When you say something is expensive, is relative. I don't know how many of us have ever experienced this. Maybe there was a time you used to buy a pair of shoes for maybe 5,000 naira. And then it got to another point that you went to buy a shoe and they told you that that shoe is 5,000 naira. You said, no, you won't buy. You say, why? Because you feel it's too cheap. You have passed that level. Okay. Perhaps some of us have come to that point that if the money is not looking like what the value is offering, you say, no, you will not buy. That is still part of the relative nature of saying expensive or not expensive. Okay. One man said, he said, anything you say is expensive, it simply means you've not grown to the level of acquiring that thing. He said, anything you feel is too expensive, you've not grown to the level of acquiring that thing. You have not become financially stable enough to acquire that thing. A time will come when the same thing you were calling expensive will become a normal way of life for you. Okay, a normal way of life for you. Okay, now take for instance, those of us in Nigeria, those days we are going to school. Okay, if you had gone to school, the days we went to school, the days I know people like Barrister Gabe, theirs will be far, far cheaper than us. When I went to school, you can still eat a plate of food for 25 naira, 30 naira. If you were to eat anything up to 35 naira, then you are eating too much. Okay. But moving forward, just in a matter of it was so sharp. Okay, just fast forwarding very fast, and then to eat a plate of food in a nearby restaurant was like 250. From 250 went to 500. I think right now it's stabilizing around 500 if you just go to any nearby restaurant. Okay, but I bet you that some of us here, if not all of us, if they give you food 500 naira and you ask the person how much is it, if you say 500, I bet you will not eat that food. Not because the food is not hygienic enough, not because the food is not sweet, not because you are not hungry, But because you will have something in your mindset that will tell you this food is not worth it, but take it back. Okay. There are some of us that the dogs in our house eat more than that. So how will you not eat something below what your dog is eating? That's just the mindset. But there are people at this point that the same 500 naira will be expensive. So when we say the highest value at the least cost, that does not mean that it is less expensive. I just need us to understand that. So value innovation, instead of choosing between cost leadership and differentiation, as in the traditional strategies, value innovation, blue ocean strategy advocates achieving both simultaneously. This is referred to as value innovation, where a company seeks to create unique product or services that offers higher value to customers while simultaneously reducing costs. As part of the principles and concepts of blue ocean strategy, we have what we call the 4-action framework. It creates a blue ocean, or to create a blue ocean, companies must use the 4-action framework, which involves 4 basic activities. 4 basic activities. Within your organization, find out what to eliminate. If it is a blue ocean you want to create for your product, take the product and use the 4 actions framework. What must be eliminated, what must be reduced, what must be raised, and what must be created. If it is your personal life, you take a look at it. What must be eliminated, what must be reduced, what must be raised, and what must be created. If it is your company, what must be eliminated, what must be reduced, what must be raised, and what must be created. Remember that before this strategy is used, you must have developed clear objectives of what you want to achieve with them. All right. Still on the key principles and concepts of blue ocean strategy, we have the strategy canvas. The strategy canvas is a graphical representation that compares the current market offerings, usually of competitors, in terms of key factors or attributes that matter to customers. It helps companies identify areas where they can differentiate themselves and create a blue ocean. The value curve is another graphical tool that illustrates how a company's product or service compared to competitors' offerings. It shows where the company is reducing costs and raising value, thereby creating a unique value proposition. Now we have the tipping point leadership. Implementing a blue ocean strategy often requires a change in organizational mindset and culture. Tipping point leadership involves rallying the organization behind the new strategy and managing the shift effectively. Execution, like any other strategy, blue ocean strategy requires effective execution. It is not just about generating creative ideas, but also about successfully bringing those ideas to market and delivering value to customers. Important note, blue ocean strategy has been applied successfully in various industries, and is particularly useful when companies are facing intense competition in overcrowded markets. By creating new market spaces, companies can escape the red ocean of competition and find opportunities for sustainable growth and profitability. However, it is important to note that implementing blue ocean strategy can be challenging and may require a significant shift in a company's thinking and approach to business. Globalcom, a case study, or Globalcom case study, a Nigerian blue ocean success story. So what happened to Globalcom? I'm sure most of us use Glo Network or Glo Services. Globalcom Limited, a Nigerian telecommunications company founded in 2003, the red ocean, highly competitive Nigerian telecom market dominated by MTN, Airtel, and the Etisalat, now 9Mobile. The value innovation, Glo pursued a blue ocean strategy getting its offerings. The 4 actions framework they took Glo eliminated the high core tariffs and introduced per second billing, challenging the industry norm. Reduced cost on affordable, accessible services. Raise, they expanded their network coverage, improving core quality and data services. Create, they launched innovative products like Globolt, offering affordable internet access. The tipping point leadership, Glo's leadership committed to strategy, invested in infrastructure, and mobilized the workforce. The execution and results. Execution, Glo aligned its resources, culture, and processes with the blue ocean strategy. The result is that Glo became Nigeria's second largest telecommunication provider by subscribers, capturing a significant market share. The Blue Ocean success here is that Glo's adoption of Blue Ocean strategy transformed the Nigerian telecom landscape, positioning it as a major player. In conclusion, strategic entrepreneurship and innovation are vital for organizations to stay competitive and create value in today's dynamic business environment. Leaders who champion innovation and align it with strategic goals drive long-term success. All right, thank you so much for your time. I would like to know if there is any question for me. Please, if there's any question for me,